I now call on Deputy James Bannon on the subject referred to. The Deputy Foreign Minister make an initial statement and the Minister for Foreign Minister reply.
Thanks, Laskin Corla. I would like to welcome Minister Rabbit to the House to discuss this important issue, the urgent need to establish a River Shannon Authority as a management structure for the river. In recent weeks, we have seen the devastating effects of flooding and storm damage on householders, farmers, business owners and people's livelihoods in many parts of the country, particularly the Midlands and the Shannon catchment area of Longford Westmeath. Many people in the Shannon region suffered severe hardship as a result of recent flooding, a reoccurrence of the November 2009 floods, and I would like to sympathise with those affected. In 2010, the then Joint Oireachtas Committee, after consultation with various agencies, prepared and presented a report on the severe weather events to a number of government departments, including the OPW and indeed the Minister's own department and the local authorities. It was felt by the majority at that time, if implemented, it would ensure that future severe weather events would be managed some of the way. Over the years, most flooding events on the River Shannon have been followed by a report, which in turn has been followed by little or no action. I had reservations about the last report, as a River Shannon Authority was once again sidelined by the then government. Having raised the matter several times on the establishment of a River Shannon Authority in both the Shannon and the Dore over the years, I was disgusted at the response from the then Minister. The same old standards speak, read the coordination of flood risk management with the OPW as the lead agency and embarking on the development of a catchment flood risk assessment and management plan for the Shannon. We heard it all before, where if my proposal for a Shannon Authority was put in place by statute, it would have overall control with regard to river management and development in the Shannon catchment area from source of the river to the Shannon estuary. Such an authority would have control of putting in place a flood alert system as part of a national system to increase awareness of potential river flooding. It could alleviate flooding in the Shannon Basin in both urban and rural areas by the coordination of water levels on the whole river right throughout the year. In my opinion, it would be the tool for the 40+ state agencies and voluntary bodies to work through to coordinate their activities. The onus is now on this government to act and put this Shannon Authority in place and to bring forward real and substantive plans to manage the River Shannon and to prevent serious flooding in the Shannon region like what we have experienced in Athlone, County Westmeath, Clondra, Lanesborough and Clonmacartan in Longford. There is a genuine fear should the proposal of the abstraction of water from the Shannon by Irish Water, if it goes ahead, it could have a detrimental effect on tourism in the Midlands and the water supply for group schemes and in Longford, Westmeath, and indeed other counties. Indeed, I don't want to see the River Inny as a casualty, as it supplies water to a third of Longford, Westmeath. It is important before any project commenced or water drawn that water levels would be agreed by such an authority, now that the local authorities won't have the authority in this area. It would be very important from a public's point of view in the Midlands that the drawing of water is measured to the lake or reservoir, and a charge levied on Dublin for every 1,000 litres of water drawn off, with money being used for projects outside government resources for the benefit of the Midlands. With a River Shannon Authority, water could be monitored and administered from the Midlands only. There is no structure to ensure the coordination of the activities of these bodies. A River Shannon Authority would provide such a structure, and indeed I'm not leaving this matter here. I intend pursuing the matter again, as its delivery is now essential. This is the umpteenth time that householders, farmers and business owners in the counties adjoining the River Shannon faced immeasurable hardship due to flooding, and I again believe if this proposal is taken on board and implemented, it would minimise flooding and allow the natural functions of the river basin to develop. This is an issue I feel strongly about, and this authority has been long promised, and its delivery is now essential.
Thank you, Deputy. The Minister has 4 minutes to make an initial statement.
I want to thank Deputy Bannon for raising this matter on behalf of my colleague, the Minister of State, Brian Hayes, who has responsibility for the Office of Public Works and who's absent on business. I welcome the opportunity on his behalf to address the House on the subject of the management structure of the River Shannon. I think it would be useful at the outset to outline briefly what the position is in relation to the responsibilities and involvement of different agencies in relation to the Shannon. There are many organisations, national and local, with statutory obligations for the management of the catchment area. For example, Waterways Ireland has responsibility for navigation, and as such will exercise some limited control over water levels in lakes and river stretches. The Electricity Supply Board has statutory responsibility for the control of lake levels arising from water requirements for hydroelectric generation of electricity at Ardnacrusha. Environmental concerns, fisheries matters and tourism recreational issues are dealt with by the relevant agencies with responsibilities in these matters. Local authorities, 10 county councils in the catchment, monitor water quality with the assistance of a number of laboratories and have responsibility for its control. The Office of Public Works main area of responsibility is for maintenance on those tributaries where capital works have been carried out under the Arterial Drainage Act of 1945. The Office of Public Works Hydrometric Service also gathers water level and discharge information at a number of sites in the river. Operational control of water flows and levels on the Shannon is therefore primarily the responsibility of both the ESB and Waterways Ireland. The ESB has overall statutory responsibility for the management and control of water flows and levels on the Shannon. Waterway Ireland also has a direct role and function in managing levels on the river. A system of management and control is in place involving cooperation by those two bodies under a detailed set of operational protocols and arrangements for the regulation of water levels on the river. I am advised that it is the body's view that this system has worked and is working satisfactorily. The Office of Public Works has no direct operational responsibility for the management of water levels. The OPW liaises regularly with the ESB and Waterways Ireland on the operation of the management protocols. Given the variety of bodies involved in the disparate function which each one is responsible for, the formation of a single authority or agency to oversee and coordinate management arrangements for the Shannon has been discussed on a number of previous occasions and indeed has been the subject of private members' bills in this House. The question of creating a single authority for the River Shannon is a major policy issue because of the very diverse range of powers, activities and responsibilities that would be affected. These include electricity generation, tourism, infrastructure, water quality, water extraction, wastewater disposal, flood risk management and a range of environmental responsibilities. As Deputy Bannon is aware, I'm sure, the question of the optimum structure or structures to manage the Shannon and its tributaries was the subject of a report in 2002 by a subcommittee of the Joint Committee on Public Enterprise and Transport. It's worth noting that the report indicated that among the numerous groups and bodies involved in the management of the Shannon, a consensus existed among these groups, while improvements in the management of the Shannon Basin were needed, that there was no agreement on the establishment of a new organisation as the best means to achieve this end. The 2002 report attempted to establish how effectively the present organisational arrangements enabled the Shannon catchment to be managed and what might best be done to improve the process. The main merits attributed to the present arrangements for the management of the Shannon catchment were identified as functional responsibility is clearly fixed in law and each organisation has a precise remit, knows exactly what it's required to do and has clearly established priorities, and communication and collaboration between the various agencies take place using well-established mechanisms such as committees, working groups and partnerships. In conclusion, Cathaoirleach, the main weakness identified was a lack of coordination among the organisations involved. The subcommittee took the view, however, that it would be undesirable to establish any additional institution unless it could be clearly demonstrated that tangible benefits would flow, which could not otherwise be achieved. It noted the danger that an extra organisation might usurp or duplicate existing institutions or else be just a talking shop. The report concluded that the establishment of a new organisation would be something that could be recommended only as a last resort.
Thank you, Minister. The Deputy has 2 minutes to...
I'd like to thank the Minister, and I mean at the outset of this presentation he outlined the problem, and that's where the problem lies, is too many bodies with responsibility, and he spoke about the 11 local authorities from Manna back down to Clare, the various state agents, the various vested interests, etc. And what you need is a single body to coordinate all of those agencies. And I live in the Shannon Valley, and I see firsthand what is happening. I mean, the coordination isn't working because we had the severe, I know the government or no minister could do anything about the severe weather conditions, but at least the monitoring, I don't think it was up to an acceptable standard. When you've seen the amount of land that was flooded, and time again I have caught, and it doesn't cost a lot of money to get the weir wall or the gates opened and keep the levels of water 2 feet below the weir wall in Athlone. The maintenance of the Shannon and the waters feeding the Shannon. I mean, there is debris and that flows down from leaves, branches, etc. into the river, and it's important that those blocks are cleared fairly often between Loughree and Lough and also there needs to be more local consultation and coordination and flood warning systems, and indeed emergency management put in place, and preventing and alleviating the building up of silt in the River Shannon, and also we should be looking at utilising the cutaway bogs in Longford, Westmeath, Offaly and Roscommon to drain off and store water from the Shannon when necessary. At present, as I said, there's a large number of separate statutory bodies exercising authority over various aspects of the river management, and they are all captains in their own right, chiefs in their own right, and also there's a number of private organisations as well, and currently there's no structure to ensure the coordination of those activities, and you'd have to be on the ground to see that. These bodies are law in their own right, and a River Shannon Authority would provide such a structure, and indeed I'm not leaving the matter here. I intend pursuing the setting up of a River Shannon Authority through a private member's bill.
And on that, I'll have to ask you to conclude.
I have been with my colleagues over in the Bill's office, and hopefully that in the not too distant future it will come before the House.
Thank you, Deputy.